there was nobody else on the highway, so a quick trip. Well, I'm Reverend Joanne, and I will be presiding today on this Memorial Day. And just to remind everybody, this is the day that we honor those who died in battle for our country. And I was scrolling a little bit about Memorial Day, and I didn't know this, but apparently Bill Clinton said, let's do this on every Memorial Day. Let's at 3 o'clock, everybody take time locally to just spend a minute in silence, acknowledging and honoring those people that have died fighting for our country. So I thought, well, I'll tell people that. So at 3 o'clock, we can think about that. We here at Center for Spiritual Living Minneapolis have a statement of truth, and it is, there is a power for good in the universe, and you can consciously use it. And that is a powerful, powerful statement. If we take nothing else from this service today, take that. There's a power in the universe for good, and you can consciously use it. Powerful way to live your life. Our mission in this center is to demonstrate and empower a positive spiritual way of living. That's the message I take to the prison. We have a prison program. We go to Lino Lakes every Tuesday night. That's what we tell these guys. There's a positive spiritual way to live, and that's what we try to share with them. So if everybody would look at their phones and see if they're turned off. Thank you. So we don't get any interruptions. So with that, welcome, and remember you can just go and have a cup of coffee at your leisure, relax, and we'll begin with a song by Claire.
Were words received? Because there should be something up here, so y'all can do it. There we go, good. I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I'm grateful, and as I greet each new day, there are 3 words that I say. With every breath I'm grateful. I am 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 grateful. And when I stop to see such love surrounding me, with every breath I'm grateful. I keep my heart wide open. I promise in this moment, with every breath I'm grateful. I am 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 grateful.
Thank you, Claire. That was lovely. I just want to make a comment. You're probably thinking that's not Debbie today. This is Joanne. And unfortunately, Debbie was walking a couple dogs a few days ago, got caught up in those leash things, and did a face plant on some cement. And she's all bruised up, and nothing is broken, and nothing is permanent, but you know how that is when she's a little black and blue, and so she's taking a little time to recuperate. So let's know the highest and best for Debbie in our hearts. So right now I am going to do a little centering invocation. So if you just get comfortable where you are in your seat. Just take a deep breath, relax. I know we don't have to invite Spirit to be with us today. Spirit is with us, always, everywhere. Let's just become aware of that Spirit within us, that love, that joy, that peace, that balance, that order, that guidance that is always, always available to each of us. Let's just sit with that, bask in that knowingness that this is our oneness with the power that created everything and everyone in the universe. All the solar systems, our galaxy, this little third rock from the sun, it is in charge of everything and everyone, and we are one with it. And because of that, our words and our thoughts, our expectations have power. And I'm grateful that this is the case, grateful for this day, grateful for this, as the song said, I'm grateful for everything and everyone. I know this to be, and I let it go, so it is. And I believe at this time we are going to do a group reading. It's in your program and it is on the screen. So let's say it together. I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I am ready to apply it to my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessings, and I'm ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be a transformative light in the world. Thank you. So we do something here, we call it the flames of faith. We know this center is based on the knowledge there is but one power, but that power has many, many names, and there are many paths to it. And so this is what we acknowledge as we light these candles. So please join me as we honor the unifying nature of Spirit as we light the flames of faith, acknowledging all people and all faiths. So we light we light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And now I invite you to take a moment and light that candle within for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual practices. Thanks. And with that, I would ask Brent to come up to do an inspirational reading for us.
Thank you, Joanne. Good morning. So I'm Brent, and I was given this reading by Reverend Jeff here a little bit earlier, so I got a quick chance to peruse it, speaking to anxiety and the presence of God. Yeah, kind of an interesting reading. I think sometimes I can get frustrated because oftentimes I feel that, there is this presence for good that is in and around and through all of us. And sometimes I think we can get caught into the thinking that if, I should be able to use this power for good, that if I do feel fear, anxiety, angst, those sort of things, somehow I'm failing. I must be doing something wrong, right? Or we can be critical of others, when they're feeling anxiety, depression, angst, those kind of things. And if they only believed what I believe or thought how I thought or practice what I practice, they wouldn't be feeling those things, right? Having said that, I think there is some truth in that when those overwhelming feelings come on, taking a pause, taking a breath, this God can gradually relieve the overwhelm of those feelings. So that's kind of what this is speaking to. Our reading today reminds us that the presence of God is not absent when we feel anxious, uncertain, or unsettled. It is right there within us, giving strength, wisdom, courage, and calm. So this is from Meditations of the Heart by Howard Thurman. God is present. God is present with me this day. God is present with me in the midst of my anxieties. I affirm in my own heart and mind the reality of his presence. He makes immediately available to me the strength of his goodness, the reassurance of his wisdom, and the hardiness of his courage. My anxieties are real. They are the result of a wide variety of experiences, some of which I understand, some of which I do not. One thing I know concerning my anxieties, they are real to me. Sometimes they seem more real than the presence of God. When this happens, they dominate my mood and possess my thoughts. The presence of God does not always deliver me from anxiety, but it always delivers me from anxieties. Little by little, I am beginning to understand that deliverance from anxiety means fundamental growth in spiritual character and awareness. It becomes a quality of being, emerging from deep within, giving to all the dimensions of experience a vast immunity against being anxious. A ground of calm underlies experiences, whatever may be the tempestuous character of events. This calm is the manifestation in life of the active, dynamic presence of God. Again, God is present with me on this day. Thank you.
So we're talking about doubt today. So I did my customary Google search. I typed in songs about doubt, and this was the first one that came up. I thought, is this a good one? That's a doubtful thought. Casey Musgraves wrote this one, and I think it addresses a lot of things in our life about doubt. It's called The Architect. Even something small as an apple is simple and somehow complex, sweet and divine, the perfect design. Can I speak to the architect? There's a canyon that cuts through the desert. Did it get there because of a flood? Was it devised, and were you surprised when you saw how grand it was? Was it thought out at all, or just paint on a wall? I have so many questions just yet. I don't understand. Are there blueprints or plans? Can I speak to the architect? And sometimes I look in the mirror and wish I could make a request. Could I pray it away? Am I shapeable clay, or is this as good as it gets? Was it thought out at all, or just paint on a wall? I have so many questions just yet. I don't understand. Are there blueprints or plans? Can I speak to the architect? One day you're on top of a mountain, so high that you'll never come down. Then the wind at your back carries ember and ash, and it burns the whole house to the ground. Was it thought out at all, or just paint on a wall? I have so many questions just yet. I don't understand. Are there blueprints or plans? Can I speak to the architect? And I thought I was too broken, or maybe too hard to love. I was in a weird place, then I saw the right face, and the stars and the planets lined up. Does it happen by chance? Is it all happenstance? Do we have any say in this mess? I don't understand. Are there blueprints or plans? Can I speak to the architect? Is this life that we make, is it random or fate? Can I speak to the architect? Is there an architect?
Thank you, Claire. You know, I think we can speak to the architect. I really do. I have doubts too in my life about certain things and things I don't know. Like if somebody starts asking me about heaven, I've never been there. I feel like there's something within me, that part of me that always is, that God's stuff that experiences life in, through, and as me. I believe that. I trust that because my prayers get answered. And so if somebody asks me about heaven, I might say, well, I really don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't think about it too much because I can't visualize what that's going to be like. 2 husbands waiting for me up there. Why? I don't know how that's going to work. But if somebody says, how do you feel about answers to prayer? I will say, that is there. That's loud and clear for me. I trust that. just going to the architect and saying, where do we go from here? Guide me, give me peace as I move my way through this. And I'll stop giving my sermon now, and I will. Reverend Debbie was scheduled today, and because of this accident she had, thankfully, Reverend Jeff is here to step in for her. So let's give him some encouragement.
So I'm not going to walk into any stores with Reverend Debbie since I don't want to look like I did it to her. So anyway, she will get better, but it'll be a couple of weeks, they said. So nothing was broken other than her ego a bit, I believe, by face planting. So, okay, we've been talking about doubt all month, and today we're going to talk about carrying our doubt together as whatever group we happen to be in. So at first, it may sound like a crazy phrase to talk about divine doubt. Many of us were taught that doubt was something to get rid of, something that we learned if we had enough faith, we would never question, never wonder, or never feel uncertain. But life teaches us something deeper than that. Doubt is not always the enemy of faith. Sometimes doubt is the doorway into deeper faith. Sometimes doubt is the soul's way of saying, I'm ready to grow. Sometimes doubt does not mean we have lost our way. It means the old way of seeing is no longer large enough for us, and then life is trying to emerge differently through us. There's an old saying that says the opposite of faith is not doubt, but certainty. I think there's truth in that, especially when certainty becomes very, very rigid. Rigid certainty closes the door. It stops the conversation. It says, I already know what I need to know. But living faith stays open. Living faith can say, I know there's a truth greater than what I can see right now, and I'm willing to be guided. Today we're going to talk about carrying our doubt together. But we're not just talking about private doubt. We're talking about the kind we carry inside ourselves. We're talking about the doubts we carry together as families, friends, communities, spiritual centers, or the human family. The question for today is this: what power and possibility lives inside our collective uncertainty? There's a story about a woman who went to a community meeting. She wanted to make a difference. She had a beautiful picture in her mind of how this would go. She imagined thoughtful people sitting in a circle, listening respectfully, sharing good ideas, collaborating beautifully, and even appreciating and expanding each other's insights with soft, inspirational music. Instead, within the first 10 minutes, they were complaining, disagreement, shouting, accusation. She sat there stunned and thought, oh my God, these people are a mess. And then she had another realization. I'm one of these people. That is a spiritual awakening right there. It's easy to talk about love in theory. It's easy to talk about unity in principle. It's easy to say we are all one until someone disagrees with us, challenges our point of view, points out something we don't like, or says things we're not sure any conscious person would say. Then oneness suddenly feels a little more advanced. That is why our spiritual practice becomes real. It's not only about what we believe when everyone is kind, the room is peaceful, life is going our way. It's about who we choose to be when people are different from us, when the conversation gets uncomfortable, when we feel uncertain and we do not know what comes next. So let's begin with something simple and honest. Doubt is a human experience. Every one of us has doubted. We've doubted ourselves. We've doubted our choices. We've doubted whether life is working for us. We've doubted whether healing was possible. We've doubted whether prayer was making any difference, and we've doubted whether love could really overcome fear. And because we are human, we do not doubt alone. We also doubt together. We can feel collective uncertainty in the room. We can feel it in the news. We can feel it in our conversations. We feel it when family is strained, when community is changing, or when the world feels unstable. Right now, there is uncertainty all around us. There is uncertainty about truth, uncertainty about peace, uncertainty about the economy, uncertainty about violence, uncertainty about the future, and uncertainty about whether people can still truly listen to one another. We ask questions like, is it going to be okay? Can we really heal this? Are people too divided? Is peace possible? Is love strong enough? And what is mine to do? These are not small questions, they're soul questions. They're community questions. They're sacred questions. Collective doubt does not mean that we are weak. It means that we are connected. In Science of Mind, we teach there is one mind, one life, one presence moving through all. If that is true, then we are not isolated little islands of thought. We are part of a larger field of consciousness. What moves through the collective can touch the individual. What heals in the individual can bless the collective. If we can feel through community, courage can move through a community. Its uncertainty can spread, just as faith can spread. If despair can feel contagious, hope can feel contagious too. That is why this matters. One of the most loving things a spiritual community can do is make room for honesty. Not drama, not complaint as a lifestyle, not rehearsing fear over and over until we believe it more deeply. I'm talking about honest spiritual sharing. Honesty says, this is what I'm feeling. I don't have all the answers today. I believe in God, but I'm also feeling uncertain. I know the truth, but I still need somebody to sit with me while I remember it. That kind of honesty is holy. A spiritual community is not a place where we perform perfection. It is a place where we remember that we all belong and we are all still growing. Healing begins when people discover this. I don't have to perform perfection to belong. That matters. So many people move through life believing they hide many parts of themselves. They hide their fears, their grief, their uncertainty, their struggles, and even their questions about God, faith, or life itself. But real spiritual community invites us to bring our whole selves into the light, not so we can stay stuck, but so we can be loved, healed, and transformed. That does not lower the consciousness of the room. It actually makes the room more honest. And when honesty is held in spirit, it becomes holy ground. Ernest Holmes taught that spiritual experience comes as we realize the presence that binds all together in one complete whole. That experience often comes in the stillness of the soul, when the outer noise quiets and the storm of human strife begins to calm. That does not mean we deny the storm. It means we do not let the storm be the only voice in the room. We pause, we breathe, and we return to the deeper presence. And sometimes we need each other to help us do that. Howard Thurman wrote about the fellowship of suffering and the community of sufferers. He understood that suffering can make us feel isolated. It can turn us inward. It can make us feel as if no one else understands. Yet he also saw that when our energy becomes focused, something deeper can become available. There's a strange grace in that. When pain, doubt, or uncertainty gathers our attention, it can become destructive if we only spiral in fear. It becomes transformative when we bring spiritual awakeness to it. Think about a family gathered around a hospital bed. Nobody's pretending. No one's saying, well, this is easy. But something sacred can happen here. Old resentments kind of fade away. Love becomes more important than being right. Presence becomes more important than words, and prayers become simple and real. Or think about a community after a loss. People bring food. They make calls. They sit together. They cry together. No one has all the answers, but love begins to take form. Think about a spiritual community going through change. There may be questions, there may be uncertainty, there may be doubt about what comes next, but if we bring our questions into the light, we can discover something together that none of us could find alone. That is the gift of carrying doubt together. So doubt can isolate us when we hide it, but it can connect us when we share it with love. Howard Thurman also said there must be community, not because we're all the same, not because we all agree, not because community is always easy. There must be community because something in the human soul longs to belong, and something in the divine life calls us into that relationship. We gather not to impress one another. We gather to strengthen one another. We gather not to prove how spiritual we are. We gather to practice being human with consciousness. Sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do is to simply show up honestly, especially when we would rather not. One of the great paradoxes of humanity is this: the very things that create collective uncertainty also become the things that can pull us toward one another. When uncertainty rises, people often become rigid, reactive, defensive, or silent. We retreat into tribes. We surround ourselves with only people that think like we do. We become suspicious of differences, or we avoid meaningful conversations altogether and stay focused only on what we think is comfortable and safe. But uncertainty can also be a doorway. Throughout history, humanity has evolved because someone was willing to doubt what others thought normal. Someone doubted that slavery was moral. Someone doubted that women should remain voiceless. Someone doubted that hatred and division were humanity's highest expression. And someone doubted that LGBTQ people should live without dignity or belonging. In those moments, doubt was not a failure of faith. Doubt became the beginning of an awakening. Someone looked at the world as it was and said, "This can't be the highest possibility." Someone felt the discomfort of what was and became willing to imagine what could be. Someone allowed the divine satisfaction to become a holy question. Is this who we really are? Is this what love would create? Is there something more waiting to emerge? Holmes wrote, "Evolution is an eternal unfoldment of the more yet to be." That phrase matters because it points us towards something practical. The more yet to be begins when people recognize something needs healing, something needs changing, and something needs more loving to try to emerge. This isn't about blame. It's not about shame. It's about deciding who is right. It's not about deciding who is right and who is wrong. It's about letting love lift our vision higher. Part of humanity's invitation right now is not avoiding difficult conversations, but becoming conscious enough to hold them with wisdom and compassion. Choosing compassion over certainty, choosing humanity over ideology, choosing curiosity over defensiveness, choosing respect over the need to be right. But we also need to say this with tenderness. Not every silence is cowardice. Not every conversation is wise. We are living in a time when people we love may be receiving very different versions of what's happening in the world. Through news sources, media feeds, algorithms, people are often shown more of what confirms what they already know, believe, fear, or engage with. Two sincere people can deeply care about the truth and be shaped by very different streams of information. So when families and friendships feel strained, it's not always because people have stopped loving each other. Sometimes the outer world has been working on their inner world, feeding fear, suspicion, certainty, and separation. Sometimes we know that saying everything we may believe may not change a mind, but it might damage a relationship that we still cherish. That's not a simple thing. That's a real spiritual discernment issue. There are times when love speaks clearly, and there are times when love listens deeply. There are times when love waits, and there are times when love sets a boundary. There are also times when love chooses not to enter a conversation because the relationship itself is sacred and fragile. This does not mean we abandon truth. It means we ask how truth can be carried by love. The sacred pause helps us deepen questions before we speak, argue, withhold, or react. What have I been feeding my mind? What has been shaping my reactions? Am I seeing this person through love or only through the issue we disagree about? Am I staying silent from fear or from love? Am I speaking from love or from the need to win? Is this conversation mine to enter into today? Sometimes it's not. Can I hold respect for the person when I deeply disagree with them? And what would love do next? Sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do is speak, but sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do is listen. Sometimes the most spiritual thing we can do quietly is keep the door of love open. We are not called to win every argument. We are called to stay awake in love. We also need to be honest about boundaries. Staying awake in love does not mean we give unlimited space to people who continually disrespect us, diminish us, or harm our peace. Love does not require us to stand in the path of someone else's anger, contempt, or cruelty. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is create distance, not as a punishment, but as a protection. You know, boundary says, I honor the divine in you, but I also honor the divine in me. Sometimes the most, excuse me, there are relationships where a very different conversation may deepen understanding, and there are relationships where repeated conversations only reopen the same wound. Spiritual maturity helps us know the difference. We can love someone and still limit what we discuss with them. We can bless someone and not give them full access to our inner life. We can forgive someone and still choose distance. This is not hatred. This is wisdom. Love keeps the heart open, but wisdom decides how close to make the chairs. I'll say that again. Love keeps the heart open, but wisdom decides how close the chair is. I think that is a very profound thing for us all to remember, because it starts with love. So we can refuse to let the noise of the world steal the love that lives beneath disagreement. Another good phrase. Avoiding difficult conversations does not create true unity, but forcing conversations without love doesn't create unity either. Unity is born when we bring up consciousness, courage, humility, compassion, and healthy boundaries into the space between us. Perhaps communal uncertainty is not here to divide us. Perhaps it is here to deepen us. Perhaps it is asking us to become people who can tell the truth without losing love, hold conviction without losing compassion, and stay open at the top even when the world around us feels closed and divided. So our affirmation for this week is I share the power of potential, the power and potential of collective uncertainty. You know, that phrase points us to a new relationship with uncertainty. Instead of saying, we don't know, so we're all doomed. We don't know yet. Let's say, we don't know yet, let's listen more deeply. Instead of saying we are uncertain or something is wrong, the collective curiosity says we are uncertain or something new may be trying to emerge. Instead of saying I have questions, so I must not have faith, the collective curiosity says my question may be inviting me into a more deeper and loving faith. That's what it means to be open at the top. Being open at the top does not mean we believe everything, anything and everything. It means we stay humble enough to know that more truth can be revealed. It means we do not present our understanding as the final word of God. Spiritual maturity asks us to hold what we know while staying open to what we do not yet know. Rumi said, sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. That sounds like divine doubt to me. Sometimes our cleverness wants everything figured out. It wants a neat answer, a quick answer, an answer that makes us feel safe. But bewilderment can open us up. Wonder can soften us. Curiosity can bring us back into the relationship with Spirit, with life, and with one another. So maybe the better question is, how do I get rid of uncertainty? The deeper question is, what is uncertainty asking of me? Is it asking for more compassion, more courage, more listening, more participation, more willingness to see through my spiritual laws? Communal healing does not happen through spectatorship. It happens through conscious participation. You know, small acts matter. Small kindnesses matter. Small moments of connection matter. A world that works for everyone is created one conversation, one act of compassion, and one courageous moment at a time. And that's not small, that's spiritual passion in motion. So Holmes taught that there is one great subjective mind, and what we call our subjective mind is our individual use of the one law. In older language, Holmes also spoke of what he called race consciousness. Today, we might likely call this collective suggestion or collective self-consciousness. I think that's more appropriate for today's wording. In plain language, it means we pick up things from the world around us. You know, we pick up things from our families. We pick up things from our culture. We pick up fear from the news. We pick up assumptions from childhood. We pick up limitations from groups we belong to. Today, we also pick up repeated messages from phones, feeds, headlines, and conversations that keep shaping what truth feels: safe, dangerous, true, or possible. Sometimes we are carrying doubts that didn't begin with us. A person might doubt their worth because they grew up in a family who felt love was conditional. A community might doubt its future because it's been through loss or conflict. A nation might doubt its ability to heal because division has been repeated so often that people begin to think that division is just normal. But here's the good news. What has been learned can be unlearned. What has been accepted can be questioned. What can be carried unconsciously can be brought into more light. And once something is brought into light, then it can be healed. That is why naming our uncertainty matters. When I say, I'm afraid we are too divided, someone else might quietly say, I felt that too. When I say, I sometimes wonder if prayer is making any difference, someone else might say, thank you. I thought I was the only one. When I say I'm not sure what comes next, but I'm willing to listen, the room kind of changes. Naming uncertainty with love can free us from shame. And once shame is gone, curiosity can return. So how do we carry our doubt together? Well, we begin with a sacred pause. It's not a dramatic pause. It's not a pause to avoid action. A sacred pause is a moment when we stop long enough to remember who we really are. And when you notice doubt or uncertainty rising, pause and ask, what am I feeling? What am I afraid might happen? Am I alone in this? Or is something many of us are carrying? What deeper truth is trying to be remembered here? What would love do next? That last question really matters. Not fear, not ego, not the need to be right, but what would love do next? The sacred pause gives spirit room to speak. It helps us move from reaction to response. And when a community learns to pause together, the community becomes spiritually powerful. Now we are not simply reacting to conditions, we are creating from consciousness. So what's ours to do this week? Well, I invite you to notice where you normally shut down or pull away from difficult conversations or differences. Remember, I just said notice. Maybe it's with a family member. Maybe it's with a friend. Maybe it's when you hear something on the news. Maybe when someone you see in life looks at something differently than you do. Maybe even a part of your uncertainty and you'd rather ignore it. Instead of reacting immediately, pause and ask, what would love, curiosity, or understanding look like? Then take one small step. The step might be listening more openly. It might be asking a thoughtful question. It might be checking in on someone. It might be staying present in a conversation you would normally avoid. And sometimes the next loving step is not a conversation, it's a wise pause, a boundary, or a loving distance. Sometimes love asks us to stay open in our heart while choosing not to step back into the same old argument, the same room, the same disrespect. And that too can be sacred. The practice is not to win. The practice is to stay awake. The practice is to let love grow between words and our silence. We don't have to carry our doubts alone. That is one of the great gifts of spiritual community. We belong to one life. We belong to one presence. We are guided by one spirit. There is one power greater than fear, a wisdom greater than our confusion, and a love greater than our uncertainty. Questions may visit us. Uncertainty may stretch us. Life may ask more of us than we thought we could ever give. But when we bring our questions into spiritual community, into prayer, into love, and into the stillness of the soul, doubt can become a doorway to deeper honesty, a doorway to greater compassion, and a doorway to stronger faith, and also a doorway to collective healing. So this week, we may not be afraid of the question. May we not be afraid of the question. May we gather them together. May we listen beneath them. May we let them lead us, not into fear, but into wonder. And may we remember the truth. We share the power and potential of collective curiosity. And so let's close by knowing the truth together. So I ask you all to just take a deep breath, settle into your seat, become aware of where you are right now. And I will say that there is one life, one mind, one presence, one infinite love. This presence is whole, wise, compassionate, creative, and always available. It is the quiet power beneath every question, the steady love beneath every uncertainty, and the divine wisdom forever guiding life forward into greater wholeness. This one life is my life now. It is the life of each person here. It is a life within our families, our friendships, our spiritual community, and our world. We are not separate from this presence. We are expressions of it. We are rooted in it. We are guided to it. Even in moments of doubt, uncertainty, or division, the deeper truth remains. We belong to Spirit, we belong to one another, and we belong to the unfolding good of life. So I affirm that every question, every doubt, and every uncertainty is held in the light of Spirit. I affirm that we are guided to speak when love calls us to speak, to listen when love calls us to listen, to pause when wisdom asks us to pause, and to set boundaries when love requires protection and respect. I affirm that we are not here to win every argument. We are here to stay awake in love. We are here to let truth be carried by our compassion, courage, humility, and grace. I affirm that this community is open at the top. We're open to greater wisdom and deeper listening, stronger compassion, and a more loving faith. Collective doubt becomes collective curiosity. Collective curiosity becomes sacred participation. And sacred participation becomes a way for love to take form in our words, our choices, our relationships, and in our world. I give thanks for this truth. I give thanks for the courage to be honest, the wisdom to be kind, and the strength to set healthy boundaries, and also the grace to keep our heart open. I give thanks that Spirit is already at work in us, through us, and as us. So I release these words into the law, knowing that it is fulfilled in the mind of God. I let it be. I trust the unfolding. I allow love to lead the way, and so it is. Thank you.
I'll get there sooner or later. So there's a lot we know, and there's a lot we don't know. And because of that, this song is exactly about that. I figured maybe we need a little bit of comedy, too, in all of this. So I am relying on the wisdom of Monty Python. It's called the Galaxy Song. Whenever life gets you down and things seem hard and tough and people are mean, obnoxious, and daft, and you feel that you've had enough, just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned the sun is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day in an outer spiral arm, 40,000 miles an hour, in the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars, 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle, 16,000 light years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're orbiting at 9,000 miles, going round each of the galactic central point, going round each 2,000,000 years. And our galaxy is one of only millions and of billions in this amazing and expanding universe. So lighten up, there are stars up in the sky. Lighten up, we don't even know why. I don't have all the answers, and neither do I. So why don't we just all lighten up? The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go, the speed of light, you know. 12 million miles a minute, that's the fastest that there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazing and unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere out in space, 'cause we haven't really found much here on Earth. So lighten up, there are stars up in the sky. Lighten up, we don't even know why. Don't have all the answers and neither do I. So why don't we just all lighten up? Why don't we just all lighten up? Why don't we just all lighten up?
Thank you, Claire. That was delightful. I don't know how many years that was my mantra for the year, lighten up. You know, for some reason, I feel I carry a lot of responsibility on this third rock from the sun. And when I think about it in that light, you start to think, just lighten up. What are we? You know, how much difference do I make? A friend of mine said, I want you to go with me on this cruise this fall. It's my bucket list. I want you to go along with me. It's going to be 15 days. And my first thought is, I can't go. They couldn't get along without me. You know, this world would not function without me. Then I hung up and thought, what are you thinking? So we're going. So anyway, thank you for that. I love that. Thank you for the message that you gave us today, Jeff. And this is the time of our gathering for conscious giving, and many of us give in different ways. A lot of us give either online, or I have money taken from my retirement account once a year. Boom, that's it. And then I don't have to pay taxes on that money that I take out. So, and then we do the basket. So however you give, we are just grateful for the ability to keep this center going and reach people who are seekers. What do we need? What are we looking for? How do we embrace a better and a higher and a richer spiritual life? So in any event, let's just take a moment to consider that each of us does contribute to support and grow this idea of science of mind. And thank you for your generosity and your commitment. And without further ado.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We bless the gifts and we bless the givers. And we have a spiritual gift to give to everybody always, and that is we have practitioners who are willing to sit and do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer pretty much available all the time, either by phone, but after a Sunday service, if you want to have prayer treatment with somebody. Today it's Jeff and me and Celeste, I think, that are available, and we'll be happy to sit with you if you'd like to do some prayer work this morning. There's a form up here on this table that you could fill out if you want to just leave a prayer request, and then you can also go to our website, and there's a place for you to leave a prayer request. So what a blessing that is. It's a gift. When I first started receiving spiritual mind treatment from people in the organization, I was astounded. I was just astounded at how they could zero in on what it is that I was needing in my life, and how they went about getting me to understand and open up to that good. So that's a nice gift to have. I want to just remind people of a few things. We do have the book club that we're currently studying. It's called The Universe is Calling by Eric Butterworth. That's on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. And you can just join us anytime you want to. You don't have to have read the whole book, but it's a great opportunity to get to know people better and to just dig into Eric Butterworth's stuff. And he's easier to read than some of the other writers about this science of mind stuff. So we've really been enjoying that and would encourage everybody to join us. And let's see, Wednesday mornings, if Debbie and I both remember, we get on a conference call. We talk to each other, and then we invite other people to join us on the call and just talk about anything you want to talk about, questions, or just get to know each other a little bit better. Let's see, I wanted just to thank Debbie and Jeff for last Sunday. We all went over to their house after the service, and we had a wonderful potluck. It was just lovely rubbing elbows with people, and again, learning to know them on a deeper level when we get together like that. Anything else I should be mentioning at this point for announcements? All right. So, yeah, go to there's a link on the website to get to the book study. Is that what, yeah. Website, link, book study. So with that, I will just leave you with this idea of let's see if we can think about this today to at 3 o'clock, just appreciate why we're here today, because a lot of the sacrifices from our servicemen who gave their lives, that's what Memorial Day is all about. So let's give some thought to that. And I just want to express my gratitude for Jeff stepping up for Debbie today, for Claire being here, for Brent, and for Celeste taking part. And I will leave you with this blessing. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
We have words? Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Come on, everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.